Okay, today I'm just going to pick up where I left off with the book. Um, some of the things that I marked in here. Okay, this one says, still, what if you could copy your mind as well as your body? Surely that would allow you to come back from the dead, right? On the sixth day, Andrew Schwarzenegger reportedly slays a set of unrelentless pursuers, only to find them replaced by seemingly identical enemies after every kill. The villains accomplish this perceived immortality through a pseudo-scientific process of copying the memories from their um, recent deceased brains and introducing them into the bodies of their brand new clones. Now, they're doing similar things with their serpent seeds, except for they're introducing the recent memories into the embryo, and that's why these kids are showing up more confident than their confidence outweighs their experience. They haven't had enough life experiences to be as confident as they are or know what they know. That's why this age, this era, this trend of youth is the way that it is. Yes. Even if you manage to give your clone a chance to catch up with you in the age department, the danger doesn't end there. Your clone will have it. Your clone will have to be raised by someone with who you trust implicitly, and there's always a chance that she'll simply leave you in a tank and take over your life. That's what the rituals are about. They put these people into the clone, and they do end up in tanks or underground operations doing, I don't know, who knows what. And these people show up and they take over your body, over your life. If you think that your clone, a being who shares your DNA, is destined to turn evil, all we can say is, have you considered therapy? A clone raised in an environment similar to yours is likely to be appropriate as evil as you are. A clone that is raised in a government run for assassins may have more of a tendency towards violent mischief. Hmm, that's interesting. Okay, this one says, sure, it took us a few thousand years to figure out how to use the replicating contraption known as the female egg, and it certainly isn't perfect. 3 trimesters of pregnancy plus labor is a long time to wait for your new double, but it's better than anything else we've come up with so far. I have a lot to say about this because, well, I'm not going to tell you what I have to say about it. I'll just say this much. There's, it makes you wonder how long it truly takes a female to develop a full-born child. It absolutely makes you wonder that. And if you come from mammals, like scientific scholars have said we do, or said you do, then I mean, being that they can expedite, postpone, do all the increase biodiversity and cause overpopulation. Biodiversity can be referred to as either genetic diversity within a single species or a species diversity within an ecosystem. A lack of biodiversity is a real problem, leaving a population at risk from disease or disaster, but it's not a problem unique to cloning. Once again, they're stealing from one to compensate another. It's unlikely that a few clones here and there are going to ravage our genetic diversity or lead to overpopulation. Well, that's exactly what happened. The world is overpopulated. Sex has a lot going for it. Okay, Hollywood and rituals is what's going to come to mind when you hear me read this one. Okay, it says stem cells can cure all diseases. If me and my family, me and my lineage have mitochondria, which is a perfect energy, supreme functioning organs, that's why for the longest we don't get sick, and when we do, it's a trauma. When they did, it was always a trauma, something they had to be really extreme with the attack. But even with that being said, you can tell they're absent from the body because they are able to heal themselves. We are able to heal ourselves. So, the great promise of stem cells is that they have the potential to regenerate or to generate new tissue, organs, and cells that can be used to replace damaged, aging, or defective ones. Damaged, aging, and defective ones. Hollywood. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm having a really difficult time speaking fluently right now, without interruption. Almost like, not quite like in the beginning, but about halfway through, some of the things that I would experience with videos are starting to kind of take place again. For those of you that are paying attention. Yeah, I just wanted to make a note of that. Yes. Now this small tidbit right here is going to show you how I'm a little aggravated. This small tidbit right here is going to, because my field is being attacked right now while I'm doing this. This tidbit is going to show you how this book is a book that you have to still read in between the lines. Like the last statement, there was a statement with truth missing. This is also a statement.
It's 3 o'clock.
Truth missing. It says, unfortunately, stem cells are not natural infection killers. They're not designed to eradicate the AIDS virus or even clear up the swimmer's ear. These people have tried to give me HIV plenty of times, and I don't have it. So that goes to show you that there's things that are known to mankind, to elite men and women of science. They know these things that they will not allow the public to know. They shape society that they want with scientific scholars to make available to you what information they want to be available to you, and for you to think what they want you to think. Most of the time without question. Why it's humbling to admit it. Much of the body is little more than a vessel for transporting the brain from place to place and keeping it supplied with oxygen and nutrients. The mind-body connection is a contemplated one. But what most people call their self is defined more by what's going on in their head than anything else. Being absent from the mind and body, astral projection is demon possession. Or the absence of the astral body is demon possession. Same difference. You're probably already aware that the X-Men have a mutant gene that gives them superpowers. Genetic intricacies aside, common sense should tell you that this is somewhat preposterous. No, it's not. People have spiritual gifts. The pineal gland is linked to spiritual gifts. And they take this, especially from those families like mine that are magnetic healers. This is taken and is used as magic. When it's taken from me, it's mutated and used as magic. Or something else, because it doesn't necessarily have to be magic. I mean, science has ways of pulling and snatching things right out of thin air. That's nothing. So I would imagine they're using it for something far worse. Granted, sometimes very simple traits like a dimpled chin or the ability to roll your tongue are controlled by a single gene. But most things in the human body are far too complicated for that. The roll of a tongue, the way that you walk, hand gestures, the way that you respond, that's all the matter of a gene. Genes can be turned on and turned off thanks to biotechnology and the corrupt way in which it's being used. Right here it says, genetic screening can foresee your medical future. The general consensus is that a comprehensive survey of your genomic flaw and shortcomings will be a mixed blessing, with your future health problems becoming available to potential colleagues. The stuff that's going on in colleges is beyond your imagination. And I've been wanting to do a video on it, but as you can see, I haven't gotten to it yet because I would need to prepare for it. I wouldn't want it to be flawed like these last few. It's too much information. It needs to be delivered in the correct manner, with your future health problems becoming available to your potential colleague, employer, and medical providers alike long before any of those problems occur. Biotechnology. Later on, it goes into polygenetic inheritance, wherein a particular trait like autism or epilepsy, eye color, to name a few, is defined by more than one gene. Just that little hang up on how I read that made me want to discuss, I'll make note of it here, to discuss how they're able to change the way that how you perceive what you read. Which is why some people have to read things over and over again and sometimes break it down into syllables for it to make sense. They can even The same thing goes for writing fluently. There were times where I would write and they could make me leave off a letter. I went from writing without any flaws. I write all the time. I can write pages and pages with no errors, no spelling errors, no grammar errors. This is by hand. They were making me leave off the letter so I could write the and leave off E. I could write and leave off D. I could write genome and leave off E. It was always a letter at the end of the word. In the game, BioShock, and Underseas, colony of scientists, artisans, and engineers began dabbling into gene modification for personal improvement. Their labors produce gene upgrades that provide the recipients, aptly named splicers, due to the additional DNA now splicers into their genomes with some serious pimped out abilities like flame-throwing palms or temporary invisibility. That would have fit better back during the X-Men conversation, but that's where it's kind of. Oh, and the title of that one was, in the future, gene enhancements will swap in and out of your DNA at the press of a button. That's what happens to me. My appearance changes immediately. When they put it back, my appearance changes immediately. Same with the mental part of it, recall and things of that nature. How much you can and cannot recall, what they try to erase, what they might have gotten on or put on pause. Same thing applies. And I said gotten on because they plug in. Like, whatever you're lacking, whatever you're missing that you might have once had is being taken from you to give to another. And it's nothing like what this book says. It's not being given to your clone. It's being given to men and women that decided they wanted to be smarter and more supreme than others. This is real. It really takes place. Three-head scientist, reptilian type, shows up to impress you with his, stolen information. Even a simple hip replacement that takes too much of a load will cause the bone it's been hammered into to slack off and become brittle. Have you ever noticed that all of the latest bionic fiction relies heavily on nanotechnology? Well, guess what? Cells have been using nanomachines for millions of years. They're called proteins. Perhaps instead of replacing parts of your body with high-tech prosthetics, you're more interested in jacking into the matrix. Promising, but dangerous. Reformatting your hard drive after a nasty computer virus is one thing, but reformatting your nervous system is something else entirely. Human-computer interfaces are in a very primitive state, and if you want one that does more than move a cursor around on a screen, expect to endure a cybernetic operating system that crashes as frequently as bumper cars. Gene is expressed. How much of your eye color is expressed? How much of your hair follicles is expressed? How much of your lips are expressed? How much of your writing is expressed? How much of your endurance is expressed? how much of your motivation is expressed. The presence of a gene doesn't mean squat if it never gets made into protein. It's just unused genetic fillers. In the body, every gene is tightly regulated by a complex combination of proteins and DNA sequences that either promote or repress its transcript to RNA. In nature, this helps cells regulate the amount of proteins produced by a given task. But by manipulating these control elements, scientists can reprogram a cell to make more or less of the given substance. Didn't we all know a couple of guys in high school who could probably have used a few less testosterone receptors? Extra copies of a gene will always lead to increased production. When a gene is overexpressed, it's producing more protein than usual. If a gene is knocked down, it's producing less protein than usual. If a gene is knocked out, it's producing nothing at all. I swear, you don't know how long it took me to get this far in this book, because every time I picked it up to read it, it made me so mad. And these are the things that I have to show up